Yo everyone, quick Enshrouded tutorial here on round structures. Now, obviously this game is on a grid if you want to place blocks. There's no way to rotate blocks. So if you want to build a round structure, you'd probably have to build something like this, which is very common in these type of games. But I missed the round shapes you could build in Valheim. You can build some beautiful towers. And we can replicate that type of build using the rotatable props in the game. So, when you're snapped to the grid, you can only place it in the cardinal directions. If you unsnap your object and hold R, you can scroll wheel to rotate in fine adjustments. And we can use this to build structures out of these props that does not align with the grid. Filling with this, you can also decorate your structures with any prop that can be placed on a wall. Any object that can be rotated freely. These are just some examples. Obviously you can experiment with whatever props there are. Placement can be a bit finicky depending on what props you used. There are many interesting combinations. Now I found that when building towers like this, it is easier to build it from the top down. It makes it so the feet of the drawers doesn't create a gap. So you gotta place floors like 3 blocks in between, like this. Makes it a lot less of a headache to build like this. Obviously this is a time-consuming build method. Unfortunately, the bookshelf entity does not stack in your inventory. Now, lining these up can be a little bit tricky, but not too bad. Now that you've reached the desired height of your tower, you can expand your diameter with any prop you can put on the wall, like the 2 shelf blocks. We're going from the small bookshelf to the regular carved wooden shelf. Has a nice increase in length. That matches up pretty well. Now, when building tall structures, I highly recommend using these grappling hook points. They will make your life so much easier. To create the walls of my watchtower, I just experimented with different types of placeable objects. You can see we're using the stone bench. Adds some nice color. Adding floors to your tower, you can just use the normal blocks, as long as they don't stick out of any of the props that you've built with. There should be no problem. Now, since the diameter has increased, the walls can be longer. So now we're using the large carved wooden cabinet instead of the 3 block wide. We're using the 4 block wide one. You see me here go back and replace the benches, because they would not let me place them in the spot that I wanted. here I managed to sneak the stone bench under the wooden cabinet to make it line up with the other benches. Have them both in the same spot. To do this I had to place the wooden cabinet first, and then just getting the right camera angle, you can place the next object in the same spot. I also managed to sneak some more props into the same spot by utilizing the lower part of the shelf of the wooden shelf. Has like 2 compartments. So utilizing that, we can sneak some stone fences and some carved wooden cabinets, the smaller variety, into the same spot. Of course, you can also add blocks to your structure. Doesn't have to be all placeable props. I'm adding some fancy stone here to the windows for some more structural soundness. So it looks not as thin and have a bit more contrast. For me, this ended up lining up very nicely, but there obviously will be difference depending on how big you chose to build, your diameter and stuff like that. We ended up using some more stone fences here, but experimenting with any of the props that you can rotate. Obviously you can probably find some very nice combinations. I'm guessing the copper and iron fence you can craft at the blacksmith will also look beautiful as windows, if you choose to have windows and not open air. Now, to build the roof itself, it's probably gonna look best using the roof blocks that is already in the game. Although they do follow the grid, building them in a cone shape doesn't look too bad. Obviously your tower doesn't need to have a roof. It could be a watchtower that only has a platform on the top for a castle wall or something similar, but we want that wizard tower look. We're gonna have to build a cone. Now I'm just freehanding the cone. I can upload the whole footage of me building this cone if somebody wants to follow it step by step. Though I kinda have no idea what I was doing myself, so it would probably be a little bit annoying to follow my exact block placements, but I'd say just do whatever. We're using a guide block that we're going to be placing the roof tiles on top of later. This is just because building with the roof tile itself is an absolute nightmare. Because it follows the grid, but it doesn't look like a square. I'm using the rough stone block here. You don't have to. It's probably better to use a more square-looking block. Make it easier to count out, but I'm cheap. I used the cheapest block I had. Now, since we want a overhang on our roof with the actual roof block, we are building this stone guideline directly above the walls with the same diameter. But you have to plan for the roof tile that you're placing on top of it. You have to plan for it being 1 block wider. Now when you place your roof, it's probably easier to place 1 layer at a time and just make sure you cover all the sides of all of the guide blocks you placed. I'm building with this tarred straw roof block. I think it is the one most fitting for a wizard. Though any of the roof tiles will work, though some of them spawn like the grey shingle roof tile spawns some very ugly wood everywhere I think it's on edge, so I would probably stay away from that one. Unless that's the look you're going for. Here you see me going just layer by layer, making sure I'm hitting all the sides of all the stone. And making sure everything is symmetrical. So, in the end, this is how my wizard tower ended up looking. We added windows to the side by removing one of the cabinets, just placing blocks. We added some banners to the side of the wall, as well as a layer of shelves with some stone fences on, but you can place anything you want that allows you to place on walls and stuff. Just experiment with it, find what fits for your wizard tower, or use this design, I don't mind. Now for the inside of your tower, you can definitely build a spiral staircase. This has already been posted online, how to do, but I'll do a quick showcase of how you could do it. Now, one way to build a spiral staircase, you can use a prop that you can place on the side of, and you can use these shelves as steps to get the best distance and height. I would recommend building this one from top to bottom, just like the walls. This can be extremely finicky and annoying to do, hence why I probably not gonna do it for my tower. But if you wanted something like this for your tower, this is how I would do it. That's how you create a working spiral staircase. If you want one in your tower, I'm probably gonna end up using a ladder, because this is hard. If any of the builds that you've seen in this video has caught your eye, and you would like to see me build, I've streamed the whole process over on Twitch, building this mountaintop village